All right, we're back on another episode of Salient Points, number 79. This one's for August 23rd, 2022. I'm your host, Master of Ceremonies, whatever Dalan would like to call me this week, Carlos Macias. We got Dalan Kirkwood
Master
from
of
up in the
paper
mountains.
mache.
Paper mache, master of paper mache. I'll take it. I'll take it. Sounds very Frenchish to me, but I'll take it, Dalan. And look, Dalan, just to remind you, we're making a show here, I think. And that's what we're trying to do here. You're over here pretzeling. Who are we
Let me
sponsored
enjoy
by?
my pretzels.
Who are we sponsored by this week, Dalan?
This week we're sponsored by Roll Gold Pretzels.
Okay. Isn't there another one? Isn't there like a different one that's a little...
There is, but I don't have it.
Okay. All right. It's like a little nicer, right? I mean, I'm not trying to judge your... Maybe that's what you have up in the mountains.
Roll Gold is the top standard of
is it?
pretzels here in
It really is at the top, yes,
Okay.
in America.
There you go. There you go. Roll Gold. We're waiting on that sponsorship there. Luis Mendez on the wheels of steel. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Oh, damn, Jeremy just got abandoned in the general channel.
Okay. Something's happening. Something's happening.
I can tell you exactly what happened. They're out there trying to play the Destiny Duality dungeon.
All right.
And they got stuck on the first encounter.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out after the show, right? The homie Jeremy, he needs some Destiny help. But
I'm pretty sure they were like, "No, we're done."
They're a little scared. They're a little scared out there. Yeah. So we got a show this week. We got comms.com. Go over there, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Remember, if you hit up Dalan in the comments, we will throw you into the show, right, Dalan? Just believe it.
Depends on how hard I get hit up.
I mean, no. What's going on here, man? I don't think we don't give you a vote here. It's not like the Quarry and the Wolfpack option. It's just getting.
This is the lone wolf option.
It's the lone wolf option.
Hey, man, it's not like I'm doing quality control. Whatever shows up is just gonna be on the show, and I'm gonna be at full surprise. I have absolutely no idea.
So the headline this week, Dalan. The headline this week.
What you got?
We do have the original GTA creator is out there getting grief by Rockstar, which means that's just what I call when the guy gets a copyright striked for sharing some early prototype footage of the graphics engine. So this guy worked on the original Grand Theft Autos. He was at DMA Design. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, but DMA Design, if you ever, Dalan, I know you go way back with video games, but there's a little game with the unicycle on the SNES. I forget what that game was called. Maybe it was called Unicycle or Crazy Unis or something. I don't know. This guy, that was DMA Design. So before they went into GTA, they were making some kind of cool physics-based games on the SNES. But the GTA creator, he uses his Twitter handle MDF200, says, "I see Rockstar going full fuckers mode again, issuing copyright strikes to any GTA video they can find, including both my prototype videos. So now they're trying to block all release of anyone's work on a game and any old development footage." There was a guy, the Nathan NS on Twitter. He said Rockstar legitimately attacked the fucking creator of GTA. And then this says a little expletive, but we'll move past that. But the creator does say that he says, "I've now removed all GTA dev stuff." He said via Twitter, "Only direct examples of my own work are left, work that was never used in GTA but inspired parts of its evolution." And the guy has kind of gone on to work on Lemmings and other games. So his biggest thing is Grand Theft Auto, right? But he, I think, wants to show that some early prototypes, and he has like even the design document of some of that stuff from the early GTA days. But Luis, we'll go with you, man, since you're kind of the developer here, and maybe you expected this already. But how do you feel about this, man? That the fact that the original Grand Theft Auto creator can't even like show prototypes that he worked on,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what type of legal loophole or whatever that he'd have to jump through to get to show, or even if he's well within his right to show it. So I'm going to assume Rockstar is well within the rights of telling him to take it down.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's a dick move. I mean, there's no like what reason are they taking that down? It's just like, hey, check out this early footage of what the game was and like what GTA 5 is now, what it turned into.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is kind of like the stuff with what's the Marty O'Donnell type of stuff, where it was kind of a little aggressive, right? It's like, hey man, stop, hey, stop. He kept slapping his hand, right? But eventually, wasn't there like some money exchange? Like, all right, let's kind of.
He did something stupid way later on, but yeah. That's fine.
but yeah, it is one of those things where if Rockstar's doing this, it's kind of like if you guys ever saw the movie The Founder, with how the McDonald's people don't even own their name. They don't even own their name. Like this McDonald's is completely owned by someone else. It's not even the original like founder. Saunders, right? But it's kind of it's all fair in what is it, Love and War, Dalen? Is that what they say?
I don't think that really attributes to business practices, but I mean
I'm
that's
saying in
fine.
business, as in regards to business, right? It's all fair. It's all fair, I suppose.
Hey man, you brought up an excellent movie though. You talk about Michael Keaton going hard.
It was nice. It was nice. It was nice. But what do you think, Dalen, as far as this is concerned here?
Now, if it was actually software that he had actually put online, like early software, I could more understand why they would want to really shut him down right off the bat. But it's just early footage that people can't even really do nothing with. I mean, there are probably artists out there that mess with 3D renderings anyway and could probably make a mock-up of the game, but just being upset that he put early footage of the game online for people to see, I don't think that's a good reason to take his stuff down. But there's also the fact that he might have had a contract with the company, because I know that for Wells Fargo, just because of where I work at,
Yeah, dox
that
yourself. Okay, reasonable.
I will. I dox myself on my employer. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But
That's information, Dalen.
That's information, Dalen. That's information.
hey, they don't know what facet of Wells Fargo I work for. But anything that is created while I work at Wells Fargo is legally property of Wells Fargo. So I would have to actually get the rights to be able to use that kind of stuff. So it might have actually been the same way for him, that while he was creating these early things of footage, might have still been under the contract of the company he was working for, in this case probably Rockstar, that they said, you know what, no, we didn't give approval to be
and
able
I mean,
to do
some
this,
of
so
this,
take it
some
down.
of this stuff, the early prototype stuff is like 1996, man. You're talking about the original GTA,
Hey,
right? Like they're
you're
so far
giving up
beyond.
the
They're
bones
so
of what was
far
happening, and some people are like, I don't even want to see that old form of what we used to have. I don't want it out in the ether because it looks ugly compared to what we have now. Let's not put ourselves in that old light again. They might be trying to walk away from that game design in all cases. They don't want to turn back and have a Sonic
There's something
issue.
in between, right? There's something in between where this guy is going back in time, right, and showing like 30-year-old footage, and Rockstar could be like, you know what, could be a little lenient about it. Right, especially it's their brother in arms. It's their brother in arms that they work together while they, before they blew up with GTA 3, right? Because GTA 1 and 2, they were cute. They, we played them a little bit, but it was until GTA 3 that it just kind of blew, like, out of the atmosphere. Dalen, is that what you would say?
This world, why not?
Oh damn. Okay. The next thing we have on here is PlayStation is someone in the UK is talking about they're ripping off customers. There's been a collective action being brought against Sony in the UK that accuses the PlayStation company of, quote, ripping people off, end quote, on its digital store. And this is from consumer rights campaigner Miss Alex Neal. She said in a statement to Sky News, she said, the game is up for Sony PlayStation. I like that. With this legal action, I am standing up for the millions of UK people who have been unwittingly overcharged. We believe Sony has abused this position and ripped off its customer. And this is from VGC, the kind of their own opinion on it. They say Sony takes a 30% cut of every purchase made, just like Steam, Xbox, and the App Store. Epic takes a lower 12%. And it's this cut that Neil claims is ripping people off. Part of the details of the case is that it's been about like 5.9 billion pounds. That's what they call money over there, Dalan, in the UK, over the course of the last 6 years, and about 9 million people since August 19, 2016. That's how many people have, quote unquote, been ripped off. So it's kind of interesting to see this come up when it's like, I mean, it's part of the deal, right? It's a fee system. It's a fee system, but I don't see. Do you see how customers are kind of ripped off on this? Because when we see it on the store, it's $20, right? That on the back end is who's getting the cut or not. That's kind of a different thing, right? Or do you feel like
I think part of the place where you really see it is when you go into a physical store versus going to the online store. Because you go into a physical store and see the game that you wanted to purchase for like $45, but then you go and look online, they're like, nope, we're just going to sell it at full price all the time at $60. You have no choice but to buy it for $60. We can do it on digital store. But that right there is its own kind of ripoff. And
but I don't even think that's the case she's making, though. I can see that, right? But I mean, maybe they do come up with that point.
Well, in this case, but if we're just talking about Sony taking 30% of all sales from the games that are being purchased online, they're not ripping off the customers. They're ripping off the developers that want to list their games on the network, because they're getting less from their sales that they could have been getting.
I mean, it's a storefront, dude. I mean, you know, you pay a little chunk of change to get yourself on the storefront, right? Like, but at the end, it's a weird case. I think it's a weird case because I don't think the custom. I understand what you're saying though. Like, you can get games physically for cheaper sometimes, right? You have to get them on a deal, or you got them used, or whatever the case is, and it's still $60 digitally, right? But Luis, what do you think about this, man? Do they have a case, or this just wackiness over there on the across the pond?
It's wacky. And don't
Well,
forget
I
about the
think
euros.
I think the case here being is that when you take into account that they're taking 42% out of a sale, they have to increase the price of the game to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're selling it to you for more expensive than they want to because they're taking such a huge cut.
Where are you
I
seeing
think
the
that's what the case
42%?
is.
I'm not trying to pick on you, Luis, but where are you seeing the 42%?
30 and then 12.
Well, no. It's 30%. That's what Steam, Xbox, and the App Store do. Epic takes lower 12%.
Well, think about
Remember
a
they were
game that's
beefing?
on the Epic Game Store. Then that one would be 42% if you buy it on the Epic Game Store.
I think they do 12 instead of 30 plus 12. They just do the 12% on Epic.
No,
Remember
well,
there was
yeah,
a whole
okay.
beef. Remember there was a whole beef with like Fortnite and all this stuff and like.
No, I get that.
Okay, yeah.
That is a very specific case, though. If
Yeah.
a Sony game, let's say I go on the Epic Game Store and buy Spider-Man, whatever, Miles Morales, that would be a 42% cut, I guess. I think. I don't know. But anyway,
Okay.
whatever the percentage
We
is,
getting real wacky
whatever
with
the percentage is,
Yeah.
they have to increase the price of what they want to sell the game so that Sony can get their chunk and then they actually make the profit that they want to make out of a sale.
Yeah.
Now, going
Well,
to
I believe
Dalen's
that's only if
case,
Sony owns whatever games that they're putting on that other platform.
well, then let's say we're talking about those games, right?
All
They
right.
still have to increase the price of that.
Yeah.
So, going a little step further to what Dalan was talking about, if I go into a physical store and a game is cheaper, whatever, you're getting ripped off from the jump. A game that came out like you're getting ripped off from the jump. A game that released day one, you go to the store, it's $60. You go on the PlayStation store, okay, $70, let's say, because it's the PS5 price. The digital game should technically cost less because they don't have to print the discs.
Yeah,
They
it
don't
can
have
be
to burn the
infinitely
data on the disc. They
reproduced
don't
too,
need the
right?
packaging.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they're not wasting necessarily the same amount of resources. So right there, I've always thought, why isn't digital cheaper? Like, wouldn't more people buy digital if it was cheaper? Like, that's the case they should have been making from
Yeah.
the beginning.
It's really
But,
wacky because I think this one, like, they need to get their crap together. Miss, what's her name here? Let's take a look at her. Miss Consumer Rights Campaigner, Miss Alex Neal. She needs to get her story straight, though. But you know, the thing that happens with the games, though, is that they actually sell it into, like, say, a Target or a Walmart for, like, I know for when they were $60, I think it was like $42. So you sell it into Target or Walmart, $42, and then the 60 is to kind of cover that difference, right? So Walmart and Target can kind of, you know, make a little bit of profit. And the reason the prices on the online store are still $60 is because of a Target and a Walmart. Like, dude, no, that's not cool. Like, we keep it at 60, so it is 60 across the board. And it's kind of like a cycle, right? It's like a vicious cycle in a way where they both need each other, right? It's kind of like a catch-22 where you need to sell your hardware somewhere, right? And you sell it at a Walmart or a Target, and they gotta kind of, you know, placate to them and be like, you know what? Okay, 60. It's gonna be 60 on the store. So that's part of it. Now things have been changing in recent times, right? Because you can buy consoles online and kind of order them through different online places, and people are more comfortable with that. But that's kind of really where that's come from, right? Where there's always been a wholesale price, and then Target and Walmart wants to kind of make that money off of that, and they look at the online stores like that. There better be some parity here. There better be some equality here. But I think it's fair. Maybe this kicks up enough dust and changes things a little bit, right? To be like, well, we're not ripping anybody off.
I don't
If
think
anything
so.
comes from it, maybe, but I doubt anything is going to come from it. But just caution, just throwing caution for everybody, including our friends, their friends, their friends' friends. It's just
The whole network.
be careful the whole network. Just be careful when you're purchasing a game because you might just be able to find it somewhere else for cheaper, and it's the same exact game. If you don't have a physical system to be able to play physical discs, you're gonna have to deal with digital. But you might have different platforms that might sell it for cheaper because you might find it for $50 on PlayStation Plus Supreme, and you might find it for free
Plus,
on the
plus.
Game Pass.
Yeah. So it's getting really, really wacky, right? It's getting really, really wacky, especially with Game Pass and like you're saying, plus the Supreme. It's getting really wacky to where like pricing is all over the place, right? And we're just kind of seeing it play out. This, I feel like they're not even starting off on the right foot, to be honest, right? So, but I think it's the headline,
They did not
right?
make their case right.
It's the headline. It's like, look, it's ripping people off, right? Like that's kind of the main thing. All right, we'll move on to quick takes here. we got an announcement from PlayStation France. It kind of leaked a little bit that PSVR should be coming early 2023. And I think, PlayStation proper or PlayStation US or Japan or whatever, they probably wanted to ignore it. But then later they confirmed it as well, that they were like, you know what, it is coming. Early 2023. That's the launch of it. Dalen, do you have any thoughts on that? They've been hinting at 2023, right? Now it's just more like a little more formalized, I guess. They were forced to.
They kept hinting at soon, especially with them dropping the fact that they showed us images of it and told us some of the specs of the PSVR 2. So at this particular point, still not sure if I even want to buy it.
Yeah.
Simply because I had a hard enough time convincing myself to get the PSVR 1.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm pretty sure for you as well that it likes to collect dust. And every so often you dust it off, but it still collects dust.
And not every so often. That thing has not been. I've thought about it, but look, the last time I dusted it off was when Saints and Sinner, the Walking Dead game, came out. And it was a pretty decent game, but I plugged it in. And I was like, these graphics are not right, man. This is not I'm done with this. I just can't. And also it has
they made a couple of fun games, but nothing that really keeps me coming back for more games. Keeps it coming back for a new system.
I'm really more excited mainly because of the whatever games they have at launch. I think those are gonna be good because really PSVR 1 the first year has some decent games, and then after that it just kind of waned, right?
So you mean the first year had nothing but demos?
Well, the first year it had Tale of Desperu. That was a good one. And then it had Astrobot VR, so it had some decent games, Dalen. Then it had the on-rail shooter, the Until Dawn on-rail shooter, Batman, the little that was actually more of a demo. That was more of a tech demo. But other than that, they had some decent games the first year, man. The first year, and then of course after a while, whatever, man. Just we're gonna raise the price at some point. Just buy whatever VRs are out there.
We're gonna raise the price.
It's coming. It's coming. So I look. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff, dude. I'm grabbing it. Begrudgingly, but I'm gonna grab it. I mean, single cable, fine. I don't have to connect the camera anymore, at least. Next thing we have on here is that if you buy a digital version, speaking of digital, Dalen, if you buy a digital version of Modern Warfare 2, that will grant you the campaign early. Activision announced the game is officially out October 28th, and if you pre-order, you get the campaign on October 20th, which is about a week early. Dalen, you were just talking about how if you buy physical, or we collectively were talking about if you buy physically, it's cheaper. Kind of try out those options, dude, but I don't know. I might drop the full price, man. That's all I buy these games for. All I get the Call of Duties is for campaign, man. And if anything, it kind of convinces me in the way where I know my friends, the people we play with, Prue and Abel, and I don't even think those guys are gonna buy it early, right, Luis? I doubt they buy it early. So it's kind of like that's the thing. If they bought it day one, I would kind of more consider this, where it's like, let me buy it early, get through the campaign, and then day one, I'm going to be there to join them. So I don't know, but still, I might do it. At least, what do you think?
The last time I bought a game before it came out for Modern Warfare, or at least for Call of Duty, I'll say, was, I think it was Cold War. I think that was the one that came out right after Modern Warfare.
PS5.
We bought Cold War. We bought Cold War, and I was ready to play it with people. And then everybody was like, "Oh, the controls suck. I don't want to do this no more. Let's stop playing this game." Like, oh, okay. Why did I just drop $55 for this game or whatever I paid for it, and then nobody's playing it now? I might as well just play the campaign and then drop this game entirely, which is exactly what ended up happening.
But this is Modern Warfare 2, though, Daniel. This one's special. I think this was going to be special. Plus, they're taking a break.
So was Cold War. So was
Advanced
Warfare. All these are special in their own ways. But
no, this one's going to be special, I feel. Right, Lisa? What are you
thinking?
Lisa, are you grabbing this digital version and playing the campaign early? What are you thinking here?
No. I don't know if I'll... that's not enough of a reason for me to want to get it early. I know for you, that's like, oh, I could get through the campaign day one, jump in multiplayer for a little bit. That to me, a little part of me wants to join in on that, but just so I can drop in, so I can get in day one with everybody and then get into the lobbies with the wackiness. But I don't know. We'll see. I got some time. I got some time to make up my mind. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But yeah, that campaign, I'm looking forward to that one.
And
campaigns are always nice.
And in a way, I think it kind of shows off how confident they are in the campaign, right? In a way, I think, to be like, look, we know you motherfuckers just open this thing up and immediately go into multiplayer, but we're telling you something here. The campaign is nice. The campaign is nice, right? I don't know. Am I reading too much into that, Lisa?
I mean, it could be their way of trying to make make people try to check it out. You know, if they pre-order it, they're like, "Whoops, I got time to kill. Might as well check it out." It's a week before the game drops. Because yeah, those are nice campaigns, man. Like people should be checking them out if they're not.
Yeah, no, I mean, not to say like they're the best shooter ever. I mean, the mechanics are nice. The mechanics are nice, but like they're not like this amazing like BioShock. It's not a BioShock that you're getting, right? Like some incredible like it's making
Summer
commentary.
blockbuster style.
It's a summer blockbuster. It's a nice little Hobbs and Shaw every year or whatever. And every so often you'll get a Fast 5 or a Fast 6 out of it. But I might do it, dude. I might do it. But like I said, our homies don't even play day one, you know, so it's kind of like, you know, whatever. I got time to play the campaign. And then when
I hope they sell the campaign separately from the game and make it cheaper. That would be awesome.
They don't do it, man. I think it's part of like the whole we're giving you a nice ass deal. Now we're charging you $70 nowadays. We're giving you a full game, right? We're giving you a full game because I think that even in this one, they might do like the special ops stuff. Give you the multiplayer, give you the campaign, and give you stuff that ties into Warzone, right? We don't even play these games, man. But to me, it's like I'm ready for the campaign. So I might be convinced. We'll see. There's still some time.
Actually,
what's up?
This comes out to a different problem, and I know I'm hanging my rack on this particular statement now. But this reminds me that we had a conversation previously about whether or not pre-orders is even still a good idea. Because we had that idea, huh?
The gold point, or what's it called?
Roll gold.
Oh, there you go, roll gold.
But it's just that idea that you pre-order a game, and if you no longer want it, you can't really return it if you did it digitally.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's it. And you hear all terrible things about it. Maybe you no longer want to. You no longer want to support the company. Maybe you just decided I needed a better game, or this money could have went towards my electric bill, you know, like as it should. But
hey, if there's a lot of money that could go to your electric bill, and said do that first. Don't be messing around with. I'm gonna trade this because I need to pay the bill in a couple weeks. Don't do that.
So I could play this game until my power goes out. That was the thought process.
But then you have those. But then you have those things that you pre-ordered like 2077, and you start playing the game. You're like, this game is super broken, and I pre-ordered it. I could not do anything about this now.
Then talk to PlayStation and get a refund.
Let's see if that happens again.
or sue them as well because they're ripping you off, right? Obviously. So I kind of, you know, I'm sympathetic, Dalan, to that point of view, but I don't trade nothing in, dude. So honestly, it's kind of like, and I'm thinking about like, yeah, if it's as good as we think it's gonna be. You know, we get the like Destiny. I have never bought a physical copy of Destiny. I think I might have it on Xbox, but otherwise, it's all digital, right? I don't even think the first one, man. I've been all digital, and there's something nice to like a game is just there and you click it and it's ready to go, right? But that thing does take like 300 gigs, I'm sure, when it drops. So it's like it doesn't even matter, man. But I'm sympathetic to that, Dalan. But honestly, like if I buy it, I'm keeping it at that point, right? But
even if you never play it,
I'm gonna play it, man. There's no chance I do not play it. It will be played. Next thing we have on here, Saints Row is getting trashed by the critics. Right now, this is a quote from Kotaku. Right now, Saints Row is sitting at a 63 on review aggregation site Metacritic, a rare low point for a critical beat that tends to collectively treat 7/10s as an absolute baseline. And I kind of like OpenCritic a little bit better. I don't know about you guys, but it's 67 on OpenCritics, and that's as far as OpenCritic is concerned, that's a quote-unquote fair. I am getting that game this week through Gamefly. We're waiting on that, on that patronage or what do you call it? That sponsorship. On that sponsorship. So I'm getting it on Gamefly, so I'm sure I have some thoughts on it next week. But the reviews are looking a little rough out there. At least you've been kind of following this stuff a little bit, or
just today. I don't know if it was in the group chat or if I just saw it on Twitter, but there was a screenshot someone posted of like the stock price of the company, and they said, you could tell the exact moment the review embargo lifted, you see it like take a huge dip. So they're struggling out there. I mean, I know they have a pretty dedicated fan base, so maybe those fans won't pay attention too much to the ratings, but who knows, because this one they did change like it's not like as wacky or something, right? Like they kind of toned it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later, but the Saints Row 4, the last one, is super wacky, man. It's like, damn, they're out of control with this. They're completely out of control. But from what I understand, so I read through some of the reviews, and a lot of it was like, look, if you like Saints Row before, you'll like this one. But yes, it kind of toned it down a little bit. But I think there's probably still a little wackiness. So I'm kind of interested to see what is the wackiness that remains. Right. So, but yeah, I did drop that, at least that little image that you're talking about is like once the embargo lifted. But what's funny is, well, I mean, that's kind of how embargoes work, right? That's why you don't necessarily trust embargoes, because the early reviews were kind of okay about it. Like they were, or actually, I don't know. I think the first reviews that were coming out were terrible, and then more reviews came out, and I think people were a little more, I don't know, they weren't as harsh on it as they were with the original.
A little more fair.
Yeah, they were maybe a little more fair, like Open Critic is showing. But I don't know, I'm willing to give it a shot. Good thing I'm renting it and like finding out kind of how wacky or not wacky it is. The next thing we have on here is that PlayStation Productions has started development on a Gravity Rush movie. And of course, that's based on the 2012 Vita game, which was one of my favorites, man. When the Vita came out, it was kind of like we were just talking about, Dalan, with whenever Sony drops something, they're going to give you some niceties. They're going to give you some nice production values. With the Vita, you had Uncharted Golden Abyss, which is pretty nice. You know, it wasn't as nice as like an Uncharted 2 or anything, but I feel like it was Uncharted 1 levels at least, or almost there. Then you have the Killzone Mercenary game that has been playing lately. That's pretty nice. And Gravity Rush, dude. This game was incredible, man. You flew everywhere. It was like you completely could just pick a direction and you just flew. So it was very Frenchy kind of art direction to it, very French. It did have graphics, Dylan. It wasn't missing graphics. It did have graphics.
Oh, it was very much missing graphics.
The graphics were kind of French-ish style, cel shaded. But you know, by a Japanese developer, which I love the game, man. I don't know if I platinumed it, but I think I got pretty far in it. Gravity Rush 2 came out and is still, I gotta get back to that. So one of my biggest regrets there. But Dalan, what are you thinking about this, man? Were you a fan of Gravity Rush, by the way?
I never actually had a chance to really play it. Well, quite literally, I had chances to play it, but I never got around to doing it. It's just one of those things that I kept putting off and just never actually did. I have it sitting in my PlayStation library to play both of them, but I've never gotten around to it.
If you want it portably, man, the Vita one is not bad. It's not bad.
You want to give me back? You want to give me a Vita, Carlos?
Hey, man, you were about to trade it in for peanuts at a GameStop.
Hey,
so I told you, instead of GameStop giving you peanuts, I'll give you peanuts. And you're like, will you give it to me back sometimes? Like, I'll give you an Xbox. All right. So, anyways, Dylan, what's going on?
You prefer to give up an Xbox over a Vita?
Dude, Vita's special, man. Vita is a special. It's the Dreamcast 2.0, dude. Like the little machine that could.
All right. Anyways, your whole reason for bringing this all up was because they're making a movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that the movie might be good depending on how they go about it, but it's just one of those, you adapted a video game into a movie, and we've seen that most of the time that does not go well. In recent days, it's been doing okay. Sonic being the most prestigious one as of right now.
Which is funny to think Sonic is the most prestigious one, but it is decent. It is entertaining. You will be entertained.
Sonic film prestigious.
Yeah,
Sonic video games, they're hitting this real hard. I know I had that conversation.
Sonic situation.
Sonic situation. They got their own situation.
It's rough. Yeah.
I mean, Tomb Raider was out there, and the 2016 version was actually good. The Angelina Jolie one, they just had fun with it, whatever. But most of the time, it's pretty much a miss with most of these video game adapted movies. And I'm hoping that they're starting to get better with it, which is why I'm waiting for the Last of Us TV series.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that's going to be good.
And we'll talk about
obviously
that
they said,
but
Gravity Rush.
As far as
let's
Gravity
say
Rush,
not enough people play this. Let's do it.
As far as Gravity Rush, you're just kind of, we'll see, right? You mainly wanted to say you got to get to the games. Is that what it was, Dalan?
I got to get to the games, but what I really want to say is that I'm pretty sure most of the people that I know, even the gamers that I know, are like, why are they making a Gravity Rush movie? They have so many other things that they could choose.
I do have to say, well, Days Gone, they're also working on Days Gone. So PlayStation Productions is across the board, man. Days Gone, they're working on that. It's a little, I don't know. I'm guessing they must have thought like, because I love it. I love the game. I really enjoyed the game. It was an incredible game. But it is a little odd to like, okay, well, they're making a Gravity Rush game, and I'm hoping it does well.
Make a God of War movie.
Yeah, that's fine, man. That's fine. Gravity Rush will be good. God of War movie is the game. All right, it's in the game. Next thing we have on here is Warner says that MultiVersus has attracted 20 plus million players. This is according to VGC. I haven't tried it, man. We gotta get down with this, right, Dalan? I downloaded it on PlayStation.
I have it installed on my PlayStation, and I need to play it.
All right. Well, what was your comment on it, though, Dalan? Was that it? I need to play it.
I have it installed on my PlayStation.
Okay. All right.
No, that wasn't the whole comment. That wasn't the whole comment.
I feel like you could put nose on some of these, man.
No,
that's the tweet.
That's the tweet. Yeah, that's the tweet. But
no, I had actually seen some news about this, about how it was like how it was super lucrative somehow, and I was thinking to myself, well, how did the game make so much money when the game is free?
Dalan, you straight
I
up
didn't understand that.
Dalan, you straight up acting like senators when they were hitting up fucking Zuckerberg. It's like, how do you make money on Facebook when it's free? It's like, and then he goes, we sell ads. Like, come on, Dalan, what are we doing?
No,
here?
but they were talking about the sales for the game.
No, I mean, yeah, it's a free game.
Selling the game.
Yeah, it's a free game and it's successful. And I don't have they said how much money they make. I'm sure they sell costumes and skins and stuff like that on it. We got to get down with it. We got to get down with it to come back to the people. But
I don't think there's costumes.
Dalan,
it's like not very many.
It's like it's been told since time immemorial. I guess it's like if you don't pay for the product, guess what? Put the camera on me, Dalan. You're the product. There you go, Dalan. That's how
oh my god.
Think about it.
Hey, that said,
think about it.
When I do play it, I am hoping that it's better than PlayStation All Stars or whatever that was.
Well, we're gonna find out, dude. I'm down to get down with them. At this point, come on, dude. What are we doing? We'll add to this bunch. We'll add to this bunch of 20 plus million players.
Playing better games. That's what we're doing.
We're gonna try it out, dude. We'll give it a shot, and if it's whack, we'll come back on here and say it's whack. You know, I mean, that's what we'll do.
Hey, man, that's what we were doing. All right, moving on.
I like it though. The case of the Mondays, indeed. Next thing on here, Remedy Entertainment. They threw out a tweet saying, "This is all they said in the tweet. We are making Alan Wake 2." End quote. That's it, man. And I like it. That is the tweet. So I think we kind of knew about this, Lisa, or no? This is like. Because this was like about a day ago. They're like, they just tweeted this out. They're like, we are making Alan Wake 2. That's it. Like
I feel like people. The thing that came out was they were remaking 1, right? And they were taking out the Energizer Bunny batteries. Like that was the thing. So I guess maybe people were kind of thinking maybe they're gonna remake or make a second one if they're remaking the first one. But there was no like legitimate sort of source on that. No Bloomberg or nothing.
No Bloom. Yeah, like they didn't even talk to Jason Schreier, dude. Not Steven Totillo at Axios. They were like, no, tweet. They brought out the Twitter fingers and they were like, we
had a meeting about it and everything.
Yeah, had a meeting about what are we gonna do. What's up, Dan?
I feel like somebody wrote out this whole paragraph of a tweet talking about the fact that they were making it, and then somebody looked at it and said, "No, shorten it." Nah, shorten it. Shorter.
They Jordaned the whole thing, dude. They just said, "I'm back."
Yeah, actually, see, Dalan is not aware of that. You know, Dalan. So Jordan, Michael Jordan, the GOAT. Prue, I'm talking to you. The GOAT. He at some point quit, Dalan. He at some point retired after he won 3 rings. Right?
I am aware.
Are you aware that when he came back, he put out a press statement and he just said, "I'm back, dude." That was the whole press statement.
Yes,
I'm back. That's beautiful,
I do remember
man.
that.
The GOAT.
He came back, but he wasn't the same.
He was very much the same. Maybe even better. He won 3 more. He won 3 more, Dalan. So I don't know consecutively. He won 3 more. That's why we call him the GOAT around these parts. But other than that, Lucy, do you just kind of, is it amusing about the tweet, or are you kind of hyped about Alan Wake 2, I guess? Because I am.
I guess I have to go finish 1 because I got it years ago when I bought Quantum Break. It came included with Quantum Break. Yeah. And I kind of started it a little bit, maybe got past the first level, and I was like, this game is old. Like, this game is really old. I don't know if I could get through this.
This game did not age well.
Yeah, it's funny, dude.
I mean, they gave me HD graphics and HD textures and everything, but the controls were still the same. So it was rough, a little rough.
Yeah, from what I remember that game being pretty smooth. But look, honestly, we put those rose-tinted glasses, man. It was a nice experience for the time. We were dealing with crappy other games maybe at the time. It was like, this is great. This is a revelation. But like years later, right? 10 years, 15 years later, it's like, that's why they need to go back sometimes and update some of these controls. But yeah, I'm excited. And yeah, they kind of had Energizer batteries were kind of like a what do you call it, like a promotional tie-in type of thing. So that's kind
Mhm.
of funny. But yeah, because the whole game you spend with the flashlight, and that's kind of how you attack the enemies. You hit them with the flashlight and then you shoot them. So it's interesting. It's very Twin Peaks. It's a very Twin Peaks-ish type of game. The next thing we have on here, we've been talking about digital this for a while now. But Project Cars 1 and 2 are being pulled soon due to due to expiring car and track licenses. So Project Cars 2 is off the like for sale September 21st. Project Cars which is the original, is off the internet or for purchase October 3rd. And Slightly Mad Studios said on their Twitter, these guys put out a whole statement, dude. They didn't just say we are making something. They put out a whole statement, all right? They said, quote, "The games remain fully playable and our players will still be able to enjoy all the game features, including multiplayer. We remain focused on making the best sim racing titles, and as mentioned previously, we look forward to sharing more on the next Slightly Mad project when the time is right," the studio said. And I was kind of thinking, like, did they ever make a third one? They're really releasing these, like, their latest games, and they're just kind of delisting them like that. But the 3 did come out. 3 came out a couple years ago. So they're older games, but I don't know. I think this is... I didn't get a chance to look it up, but I feel like, does Gran Turismo come off the store like that? I don't know if... Maybe they have maybe Project Cars, like, we don't know.
I don't think
Gran
so.
Turismo makes too much money.
That's what I'm thinking. They're prestige.
It's probably just a difference in how they approached the contracts and whatever this thing was. They, throughout a time that they thought, because at that time, no one was really understanding how far digital sales were going to kind of go. It was like, hey, let's try out and see if we could get people to buy it digitally.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just an oversight in the contract. Like, as long as we're selling this game, we can have these cars in the game. Maybe they just didn't think about that.
So, you mean like Rock Band with their music?
Yeah, Rockstar is an option, or stuff like the Grand Theft Auto games where you don't get like the biggest, the music you remember from watching the trailers, right? And Michael Jackson's on there, and all these other tracks are like, oh, they're not in here anymore, But it's definitely something that you would think. But I mean, these games aren't that old, right? You would think they kind of would take that into account, but maybe. It's like you're saying, Luis. It's like the way the contract was played out. Maybe they don't have as much leverage as a Gran Turismo, or Gran Turismo like, no, you want to be in our game. Project Cars at some point is like, I still don't know how big this game is. They've made 3 of them, right? But it's not as big as Gran Turismo, right? Or as big as Forza. So it's kind of just interesting to see. But it's also like, so these games are on sale, right? So you can still buy them physically, right? You can still go out there and buy them physically, and I think they might even be on sale on PC. These guys also made a Fast and Furious game, Crossroads, which I heard was kind of a piece of crap. But knowing that it's from the pedigree of these guys, I kind of want to grab it, because I think they delisted that game too shortly after the reviews came out. They're like, you know what? Let's take that off of there. Let's take that off the store here. Dalan, what do you think about this, man? This is kind of further proof that F digital.
Well, no, I don't think this is really specifically a digital issue. It's just the licensing thing. Like I was mentioning, it just reminded me of Rock Band when they ended up having their licensing issue with all their music, and they had to delist a whole bunch of songs from their game. And then they tried to come back with new and different songs, but I was like, man, I miss some of my old songs that I can't play anymore.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. It just happens. And I
but
assume
if
that the
you
way that
own
they
them,
actually did their...
if you own them, like say those tracks, if you own them and they're on your download list, you can re-download them, right? I think this is like...
No, the thing was when you went from Rock Band 1 to 2, there was like a purchase you could do that transferred all the music from 1 to 2, but then there was some that weren't included. Like I think Enter Sandman, that's the one that comes to mind first.
Yeah.
Which was one of the best songs to play on drums in that game, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one wasn't included amongst, I guess, a few others.
Yeah, so it gets a little wacky that way, right? But if you wanted to, and it's a whole, you don't want to do that, of course, right? You want to bring it all with you. But if you want to do that, you have access to the Rock Band 1 version of that, right? It's inconvenient. I understand it's inconvenient, but you have access.
No, but I would also think that in this case for Project Cars versus Gran Turismo, is that Gran Turismo, who had already made a whole bunch of money, probably shelled out more money to be able to permanently have those particular cars contracted into their games. Unlike Project Cars, which is their nice little project game, but it's not like they can afford the same amount of money that Gran Turismo... Yeah, I know. But don't mess up my little quip, all right?
Okay, continue. It's a case of the Monday Dalan, but go ahead, Dalan. I'll grant you this.
You already understand what I'm saying. The fact is, they probably didn't have enough money to be able to purchase the cars. They rented them digitally,
All right, I got
and
you.
they just didn't have the money to renew those licenses.
Yeah, there's something right behind the scenes where, and I don't know if this game actually. So I know Gran Turismo for the longest time didn't have damage. And maybe they still don't. I'm not really sure. Deo, where you at, man? Where's Deo at? He could tell us.
I think they do now.
They do have damage. It's
they
just not
do
as
do
big
some damage,
as
right? But
other
maybe
games.
that's part of it, like the.
I mean, it's not burnout damage, but it's still damage.
Yeah, and I think Project Cars did a little. I don't know if that's part of it, right? But there's got to be something behind the scenes where it's like, for whatever reason, Gran Turismo's just still selling Project whatever sports or whatever, and they're just happily just trotting along while these guys are like, no.
They are the official vehicle simulator game. They are the official vehicle simulator.
Don't look it up, Dalan. Matthew, don't look that up for him. Don't look that up for him. But I feel he thinks it's right. The Game Awards.
At the very least, they were for years.
Yeah, the Game Awards. Yeah, the Game Awards is coming December 8th, and they're adding a new category, which is best adaptation, which sounds a little funny. But Jeff Keighley actually added a little more definition to that, and this is coming off of The Gamer, is where I pulled this quote from. It says, quote, "The Best Adaptation Award is a way for the gaming industry and its fans to tip its hat to creative work that authentically adapts and often adds lore and context to our favorite gaming franchises. With so many game-inspired projects across entertainment, the time is right to honor excellence in adapting video game worlds to other mediums." I don't know about you guys. I'm still a little confused, but the Best Adapted Award, right? Or I don't know, Dalan, do you get what he's saying here? Do you like this award that's being added?
The Best Adaptation Award?
Yeah.
Well, I still think it's better to have the Better Adaptation Award rather than the best YouTuber out there. Don't get me wrong. I understand YouTubers deserve recognition, but do they really need it on the Video Game Awards when they're not even doing video games on YouTube?
Okay, Dalan. All right. That's fair. That's fair. Luis, what do you think? Well, actually, do you have any other thoughts on the Game Awards themselves, Dalan, I guess, or is it mostly best adaptations?
Hey, man, it's December 8th. You know we're going to be watching it, and we're probably going to make our own category. Ooh, I'm ready to do that.
I'm ready. When can we get, what do you call it? I don't think we're ever getting, what did I call it? The unanimous? I don't think we're ever getting a unanimous, man. That first year
I don't care if we don't get unanimous, as long as we have some top tier games.
Okay, I know you're gonna look. I already know Stray's gonna be on there for you. Like I already know. Like it's just your top 5. I already know because Kenna was your last like indie darling, and your indie darling this year is Stray.
I can't even remember if there was a game this year that I was waiting for that hard. I know I was waiting for Elden Ring, but even though yes, that game blew up. Elden Ring. I wasn't feeling Elden Ring the way that everybody else was. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's a bad game, but I just couldn't play it the same way everybody else did.
All right, there you go, Luis. Wait,
just couldn't do it.
The Game Awards, or as far as like this new category that they're adding, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I guess it's a neat little addition to the awards that they have there on top of the YouTuber ones. But,
okay.
I wonder how long they're gonna keep it around, because I don't know if this is like a 1-year thing, or they sort of have inside information or seen the projection of like all of these video game adaptations that are coming up, because I can't really think of that many for them to like keep it as a constant sort of item on there. But
that's what I'm thinking. The only thing I can kind of think about is like they write books sometimes, you know, like I know they're writing a book for Star Wars, the next game, Jedi Fallen Order, and the Halo books, and then there's other different books. So I don't know, like that's kind of what it comes down to, right? Or maybe comic books, I guess, but it's all kind of books, right? Unless maybe like The Last of Us, they're thinking like The Last of Us TV show or movies. So I don't know. It's really wide.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog the movie.
Yeah, it's very prestigious. The very prestigious Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, the movies. So I guess it'll be interesting to see what kind of gets nominated, because he's basically saying like anything goes.
Uncharted will be on there.
Uncharted movie, I'm sure we'll get top billing. I'm sure. Yeah, at least was that. You got anything else on that on the Game Awards?
No, that's it.
Next thing we have on here is that the Yakuza creator Toshihiro Nagoshi says his next game will be, quote, violent and silly like a Tarantino movie, end quote. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out, because I thought the Yakuza games are a little wacky. I don't know if exactly like a Tarantino movie, but they're kind of nice and wacky. So nice and violent and silly and wacky. So it's kind of an odd statement. Luis, can you make anything out of that?
Well, that's kind of what my comment was going to be. Is I've never played any of these games, but I thought that they were already like violent and wacky, so I don't
Yeah,
really
that's
know
what
what the
I'm
statement
thinking. They're
means.
all violent and silly.
Yeah.
Like, why do you make this statement?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it turns more into Tarantino style versus like just because that statement doesn't really say much, I guess.
Yeah, and the internet was very quick to point out Tarantino. Tarantino likes his feet in his movies. He's got a little foot fetish going on. So maybe that's what he means. What do you think, Dalen? Before we move on.
Well, for his comparison of Tarantino, I will say that Tarantino actually has a direction, even with his wackiness. I'm not so sure that the Yakuza games even reach anywhere near that level. I mean, if you're gonna be wacky, they're probably gonna be really wacky, like stupid wacky. Unlike the Tarantino films,
Yeah,
there's only they go a certain level of wacky before you're like, that was funny. Now let's move on. Or there's too much blood here. It basically looks like an anime. That's very violent. But let's move on.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe a little more violent, and maybe like a story like a Tarantino. He's kind of trying to make a point sometimes, right? There's kind of a story under the story, right? Kind of like the subtext.
It's like you got shot with a 6-shooter and you flew back 15 feet. That's wacky.
There you go. Maybe we get a little more gore. Maybe we get, because the Yakuza games aren't that gory. And they're pretty straightforward games, I guess, for their wackiness. And maybe these time a little more subtext, a little more gore in the game. But we'll see. It's the way to hype it up. The man was also wearing a Pro Club, by the way. I put that in our chat, Luis. I was like, he's like, so people in the comments or not in the replies to the tweet, they're like, this man does not look real. I was like, nah, he looks real. He's just wearing a Pro Club. You guys just don't know about his Pro Club shirt. The next thing we have on here is that The Last of Us Part 1 Platinum will not require solving the game at higher difficulties. And also grounded and permadeath trophies are delayed. So that'll be like a separate little category, which they've done before, I believe. I think they did it with part 2, right, Luis? I think they kind of separated those trophies. We do have a quote. There's from Lou Rian on Twitter, LEWRIAN. He says, they delay the trophies so that it can be added into its own separate trophy pack / list, like how DLC is. This way won't stop those who want the platinum. Sony have a process for additional trophies. I imagine the trophy update will come with the day 1 patch or a few weeks after. I kind of like it, man. This actually convinces me, at least, to try the game out. I was already kind of, I'll probably GameFly, I'll probably rent it. But I'm already kind of like, all right, maybe I do want to platy this. Because if they go day 1 on, like, you need to beat it on grounded and permadeath mode, I was like, I might just skip the game entirely. So I kind of like their thought process and the fact that they're separating the list. I think it gives like some completionists, because there are people out there that don't even want to see a 0% or a 7% or whatever. They want to see a full 100% on their trophy list or whatever. So I kind of get that, and it gives people the option of like, they still get the platinum. And if you want to be extra wacky, here's a separate list. But what are your thoughts on that, Luis?
Yeah, I don't necessarily even know why this kind of picked up on social, because that's what I figured happened when part 2 came out. That they released the grounded and permadeath update. It was just the 2 trophies that were added later. So I figured, it's probably because they want people to try to go for the platinum. The thing that caught my eye, which is what I'm excited about, because I always play the game on the hardest difficulty at the jump for that reason, so that it gives you the previous 3 or 4 that come before that. Is you don't have to play it in different harder difficulty. So that's the one that I'm kind of like, all right, I don't have to play it on grounded it from the jump. I can kind of take it a little more slow.
But it's not stacked though, right? Like I think that's kind of the main thing, that you can bait it at any difficulty. Is kind of how they're doing it. So it doesn't stack. It doesn't.
No,
have
yeah,
like
that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, because before you would stack them, right? Before they did have different trophies for like if you.
That's what I said. That's what I said, Carlos.
What he just said.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, I said I would play it on the hardest one first, so that it would unlock the easier ones, and I wouldn't have to play it 4 times. I would just play it the 1 time.
You guys,
and then whatever else you miss, you would just go back and do it on easy mode.
You guys, Wolfpack, the majority voted me on that. All right, so I agree with the Wolfpack here. The next thing is we have on here. I don't know how hyped you are about this, at least. Maybe I thought you were on Blackout, but maybe you aren't. But there's HBO's The Last of Us series teaser dropped. I have not looked at it, but from what I understand, it's basically like there's a lot of scenes that match up with it. Luis, are you in a Blackout for this, or did you kind of dip your toes into some of the teasers?
inadvertently blacked myself out of this one because when the show was starting up, Game of Thrones, right? We were watching Game of Thrones as a family, and it was starting up. I got up to, I don't know if it was go to the restroom or go to the kitchen and grab a drink or something, but when I came back, the trailers were done. And then I go back home later that night, open up Twitter, and everyone's talking about the trailer that dropped. I was like, oh shit, I guess that was a good thing. Like I got up just before the trailer came on screen, so I didn't see anything.
Oh,
But
there you go.
yeah, it's coming soon. So I mean, I don't have to wait too much
Did
longer.
your family show any hype for that? They're like, hey, Luis, there was they don't know what The Last of Us is.
I don't think they have any idea what that is. No.
Did they say this looks cool? You missed out on a cool trailer or anything like that? Or?
I wasn't there. No, I don't know. Okay. I don't know what happened.
There you go. But yeah, The Last of Us, I'm hyped. I want to see what their adaptation is, and of course Jeff Keighley is nominating them. I'm sure whenever that show drops for adaptation. The next thing we have on here is Sonic Frontiers, potentially drops on November 15th, and DLC is planned. And of course, there's kind of mixed reaction to all this stuff, and Sega came out and they're like, it's coming out. So this isn't confirmed, but this is kind of like some leaks, and people are thinking that it comes out November 15th, which I'm kind of inclined to believe when Sega's like, no, you guys don't know what you're talking about. This is coming out. You just don't understand. Luis, what do you think, man? What do you think about this here?
I was more intrigued by the DLC thing. That to me proves even more that they really don't think that the fans understand what they're going for. If they're already planning to release DLC after it launches with the negative sort of press it's getting already. So I don't know. We'll see how this works out, but I feel like they have full faith in this title, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like they're not listening to their fans.
Yeah,
you don't understand, Dalan.
I don't understand. Of course, I don't understand.
You don't get it.
It's a Sonic issue, and I don't understand.
Yeah, like Dalan said right last week, it's a Sonic issue. We'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. November 15th is kind of what people are throwing out there. It might come out during that time. The next thing we do have a confirmed release date for a Plague Tale Requiem that comes out October 18th. Dalan, you're pretty hyped? Pretty hyped about this?
Yes, I'm hyped. I've been waiting for this game. This is one of those games I've been waiting for. And depending on how good it is, it might be my game of the year simply because I loved A Plague Tale Innocence that much. It was actually really fun to me. And so as soon as I found out there was a part 2 and saw the trailer for it, I've been hyped for it ever since. Haven't looked up anything else for it. This is my blackout game after I saw the first trailer for it. So now I've just been biding my time and waiting for it. And I'm glad that it's coming out this year. Yeah. That depending on how much I actually play it, which I'm buying this game day one.
I think it's Game Pass.
I
think it's Game Passable.
I'll buy this game.
You'll buy it even with Game Pass
to put this game out. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I have a deadline. It's October 18th. I haven't played it. I'll try to play by them. I have a few games that I kind of need to get around to. Next thing we have on here is Final Fantasy 16 producer Naomi Yoshida says he knows that combat won't satisfy everyone's demand. He did say, as far as on combat, he said, quote, "It is also a fact that people are becoming less familiar with old-fashioned style of RPGs where you fight by selecting turn commands. That's why the battles in Final Fantasy 16 are very action-based. We want to make people all over the world think that Final Fantasy is a great game. Of course, I don't think we'll be able to satisfy everyone's demands, so I've told everyone on the team that the first thing we need to do is to make something we think is fun and make sure it reaches the people who like it." Dalan, on that point, he has another point that we'll get to real quick, but on that point, as far as the combat, what are you thinking there?
It kind of feels like the same as the previous statement that he had put out when he was defending the gearing more towards open world aspects.
Yeah, he kind of doubled down a little bit more. This is kind of a little slight
that's what this is. He's really doubling down.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that yes, games will evolve, but people still like the old stuff. It's one of those mentions of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. People are still buying JRPGs. I mean, Persona 5 Royal is pretty much the same as it was when Persona 3 came out, and people are still buying this game.
Yeah.
They just updated what's happening on the screen, and it looks beautiful. Just make it look beautiful, and people will buy it.
Yeah, but he also says like with Final Fantasy 16, they're kind of leaning more action based too, right? Like so, he's already kind of like giving up on that. Whatever, man. Let's just when they hit the button, make sure it hits something. very quickly.
He's the Kingdom Hearts guy. He's like, you know what? We're gonna make this more like Kingdom Hearts than old Final Fantasy. But didn't you work on the older Final Fantasies? No, we did not. We did not work on those older.
I have no respect for that. No, and don't take me down. Don't do any takedowns on my content when I'm putting up my prototypes. He also talks about how kind of the series have been struggling. In another quote, he says, "In terms of whether Final Fantasy is successfully adapting to industry trends, I believe the series is currently struggling. We're now at a point where we receive a wide variety of requests regarding the direction of our game design. To be honest, it'd be impossible to satisfy all those requests with a single title. My current impression is that all we can really do is create multiple games and continue to creating the best that we can at any given time." I kind of like some of this is kind of like a defeatist like attitude, right? It's like, whatever, man. Look, I'm just making a game. Just make a game. I mean, if you like,
it's like,
it,
whatever,
like it,
man. You told us we're gonna try it in like different fashions. We'll see what touches.
Right.
But they have a good system already, where they actually updated it. You made it your game of the year, Final Fantasy VII.
That was nice.
Remake.
That was nice.
They have a good system. I don't know why they need to actually adjust to other systems. That's a very good system.
Yeah. Well, look, I know you didn't mean it that way, Dylan, but I like we'll see who it touches. All right, I got you, Dylan. So we'll see. We'll see who Final Fantasy.
We'll see who it touches. It's gonna touch everybody.
Oh, okay, Dylan, you gotta double down on that.
Were you touched by Naomi Yoshida?
Hey, man, get a lawyer.
Oh, damn. Okay,
I think he'll need one. The amount of people he's going to be touching.
Yeah, you might. You be careful, Dylan. Just be careful out there. The next thing we have on here is that new Tales from the Borderlands. That's the title with the new in the title. New Tales from Borderlands drops October 21st. It's the sequel to the narrative-driven adventure game, which is kind of like, I haven't played it, but I heard that one's actually pretty good. I heard that it's pretty funny. It's kind of a Telltale type of game. I don't know if it's made by Telltale, possibly, potentially. I think it's made by Telltale. So that's one that
Telltale still making games? I thought they stopped.
No, dude, their engine has been wacky for such a long time, but they just keeps chugging along. So yeah, new Tales from Borderlands, October 21st. Did you play that one, Dalan? Did you play that that game?
I did play it a little bit, and it was very wacky and very choice driven. Yeah. Like, even whether or not you're gonna walk into a bar or something like that, you don't even walk around the streets or nothing. You just got to choose your locations. It's a very point and click game, and you played the Batman Telltale game, right?
Yeah, which that one was pretty decent too, actually. I thought.
Yeah, it's the same thing except Borderlands. So it's got the wacky scripts and that cell shaded art going along for it. And it was more so about Jack.
And you're not distracted by like millions of weapons. Like, I don't even know which one's good or not. I'm gonna throw this down.
Oh, no, you can still get distracted by millions of weapons because you're picking them up and selecting which ones your character is using as you're going through the story. It's just not as frustrating to try and sift through all your billions of weapons that you picked up and try to put in your locker that you can't fit them all in.
And it's not a shooter. Right, it's not a shooter. It's click and point adventure.
It's still some shooting that has to be done. It's just not as involved or as interactive as the original, as like Borderlands 1, 2, or 3.
There you go. Are you grabbing this day one, Dalan? Do you think? Or
not at all. Okay. But I'm glad that they're actually trying it once again. I would hope that they would go to what's the name of the group that does Until Dawn. I would love for them to go to the Until Dawn people.
Yeah. I think this matches more their style, right? It's kind of a little like cell shaded or whatever. Ugly art style. I think that's a quote from Lise, right? It has an ugly art style, or no? How do you feel about the Borderlands?
I don't know if I said those exact words,
it
but
has
I
no
just
graphics.
I remember not.
You might have said.
I don't like it. Okay. It's not. It doesn't touch me. You know?
Damn. Hey.
They were trying to touch you, Luis. They were trying to touch you.
We're gonna move on to what you've been playing here. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think I got my my review kind of going. I'll put the review up for the Quarry. Well, with this kind of our final thoughts, I think I'm gonna go towards. I'm gonna grab some more of the trophies on there at some point, I think. But it's already, at least I think I sort of started on like the path of getting trophies. I think I'm like 3 hours in. And it's like no trophies have popped. Of course. So it's already like it's gonna be a multiple process, but I think we kind of got the idea of it, right? It's very much the Quarry is in the vein of Supermassive's games, right? It's kind of like a Scream type
184 endings.
Yeah, 184, and that's kind of one of the interesting things. Which apparently for the platinum, you only needed to do like six of the endings, but the fact that it's 108 endings is kind of wacky. It reminds me of a little Suikoden action there. But we did finish it. we got to the very end and we realized it's like we will not be playing independent of each other. We are just it's voting the game. But in as much as it is voting the game, I feel like it did an okay job at it, man. I wish, yes, we each controlled the different cat members at the same time. And that's me. I was the one controlling the character, but I felt bad. The fact that you guys were just watching, right? I felt bad
we were just watching you play a video game. Don't get me wrong. When I was younger and I would be sitting in the living room with my friends and we didn't have online gameplay, that was an excellent thing to have a lot of the time. But today's age where you have multiple characters and you've already built games where you can have multiple people playing at the same time, what are you doing by not letting us play with these other characters at the same time?
Yeah, and especially when you consider, especially when you consider like the Dark Chronicles, that which is I would think you're selling this game for $70 versus the Dark Chronicles is a $40 game, I guess, Dalan, or I think we bought it for $20, like one of them or something. But
it depends on which one you're buying because they're selling the Dark Pictures anthologies.
Yeah.
They're selling each individual section of the game for its own price. So the first game's like $30, second game's like $20, third game's like $40. By the time you're done, you're paying like $80 to $100.
Well, yeah, but each one is like a self-contained story, though, right? Like you could play one and not necessarily play the other ones, right? So it's there's little threads, but not really. They're all independent games. Like it's an anthology. But you do play independently of each other, and you're having like slightly different experiences, and then you join up. So in that way, it's sort of weird that it's sort of a step back.
You're not just playing independently. You got to clarify that you are all playing at the same time when you're playing online.
Yeah, you're
unlike just passing.
Well, whatever you want to call it, though, right? But you are each controlling a character, and it's sort of in different scenarios, and then you kind of join up. So it's a little step back from that. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like Until Dawn is definitely. I got to go back and play it. And Luis, I know, said it's like I don't know if it holds up, but I got to go play Until Dawn. But I don't think it reaches those levels. It reaches those levels in the sense of probably the controls are a little bit better. The QTEs are pretty simple. I remember Until Dawn maybe being a little more involved.
The QTEs were pretty much simple.
They were pretty simple in Until Dawn as well. But the motion captures, all of that stuff, it's kind of incredible. And the dialogue is snappy as well. Like it's very like you're watching Scream. You're watching like a Scream movie or something like that, right? Like a teenager.
You're watching a good horror movie. That game picks up a lot faster.
Yeah, so it's a teenager like B slasher type of movie, right? And I liked it. For me, it's I would say it's an 8.0. 8.0 for me.
Are you talking about Until Dawn? Or are you talking about
the Quarry? I'm talking about the Quarry. No,
because those both have the same aspects.
Yeah, the Quarry. Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of going down that same kind of lineage, right? That kind of same like we're making this game.
Teenagers, horror, slasher movie. Yes, they're both in the same exact realm. You described them both at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's the genre. That's the genre that they're doing. But the Quarry, one of the cool things about the Quarry though is that the way the werewolves are like presented. These are hairless werewolves out there. These are like it's
it's their type.
Yeah.
But that said, you gave it a score. What score did you give it?
I gave it a 8.0 for me. I'm giving it 8.4 because I am going through it solo, and I like all the little details. I like all the like little B movie tropes, all the little VHS tapes that you can find, and it's a little different when you don't feel the pressure of like, damn, I'm moving the character around, and the homies are just watching. But they get to vote. And make decisions. I can make my own decisions. I can be my own man finally. All right, that's kind of.
Hey,
Luis,
I can say, okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Dalan, and we'll let kind of Luis finish it. I'll see what his thoughts are. What are you thinking, Dalan?
So I did actually start playing the single player, and immediately off the bat, I was having significantly more fun as I was moving the character and being the arbiter of my own destiny. So
the sole decision maker.
Yes, I right off the bat, I give that a good 8 out of 10, simply because it's a beautiful game and the story is very well made, and you get plenty of decisions that you get to make, with the exception that every so often you get these weird cuts in between scenes where you're like, I'm waiting for this to load, and you see it just drop whatever the heck it was doing and then go to the next scene, but you're in the same place. But as for doing a multiplayer, that was a good.
It's good for what it is, but
really
it's good for what it is, but go into it expecting like it's just not what you want. It's just not what you want. It's a single player campaign. But we did have fun playing it over several nights, right? And it was, well, somewhat fun voting, and that was kind of like,
multiplayer is fun to yell at your friends with.
Yeah.
Single player is fun to just play the game.
There you go. Luis, what are your thoughts, man, on the Quarry? Little final thoughts. Well, I mean, we could talk about it later, but as far as this week.
Yeah, I think I made the right decision in playing the game first before we played it together, like starting that playthrough first, because I saw a lot of things that you missed. Like not even just in the environment, but also like
I was about to say like the card that he fell asleep for.
Yeah. But I mean, they also, to be fair though, in the beginning they don't really tell you that they're anywhere, so you're gonna miss a few unless you're kind of looking for them, or you stumble across one by accident, I guess.
Yeah,
but yeah, I saw like and decisions and stuff that I was making, or pieces of dialogue, or choosing to pick things up or leave them, like seeing the effect that they caused in my playthrough, and then putting them with what we were doing. It was like, oh, okay, I see. So maybe I don't need to do that, or maybe I need to try that next time. Like I haven't actually looked up any guides or anything to like how to keep everyone alive, get all the endings, whatever. I kind of want to play it maybe once or two more times to just see what happens when I make random decisions, and then I'll go clean up the stuff that I didn't pick up.
Yeah, like I said, I played an hour or two already, and already like I'm like, wait, you can dive in there, and there's another thing down there. There's like, I don't want to spoil it, right? So I'm kind of being a little obtuse about it, but it's like, wait, you dive in there and you can find more stuff. So already, like when you play by yourself, you play it at your own pace. You're reading things, taking your time with everything. It's a different experience. I think, and I think our experience is gonna be a little different, because I played through it with you guys, right? So now it's like I'm like, okay, let me look over here, let me do that.
I'm by myself getting my own jump scares. But Luis, I do want to ask you: is this the only game that you played this past week?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, aside from the usual, the usual rotation.
Well,
GTA, Rocket League.
And also, didn't want to cut you off, Luis, but what do you think, man? That's kind of your final thoughts on the Quarry. You're gonna keep going, right? I guess play it a couple more times.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know quite the number, because I don't think I guess it would be an 8.5, because I don't know if it's quite a 9 yet for me, but it's better than an 8, I think, just because just seeing the ending that I got was drastically different than what we got when we were playing together. So just seeing that, and like how many characters and where they could all wind up and what happens to them, and they could, things could happen at different points in the story. So yeah, maybe 8.5. 8.5, I think, is where I'd put it at.
So you find that 180 endings plus to be a positive thing for the game?
I mean, I'm not gonna like try to get all of them.
I'm not saying you're trying to get all of them. I think
it's just interesting that
varying ending.
Yeah. That was a positive thing for me. That's why I kind of inched it up a little bit more than the score that you guys gave it. So
Now
I gotta kill everybody.
Now, we gotta go for that too, because I think we killed a lot of people in our playthrough, but I think we got more people to go. The unfortunate thing, like
you killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
You were controlling all of those characters.
Hey, some of these times the QTs you guys missed, or one of us missed, or something, that was weird.
We didn't kill nobody.
Look, there was two things in like the first couple hours already. And the thing is, it's kind of cool that there's like this whole butterfly effect, right, that it permeates the whole game, which starts like in the first couple chapters. There's one where one of the characters, when we were playing, she got bit, and I was like, oh damn, we could have not got bit, and we could have dove into the water this way. So there's different things that like permeate throughout the whole story. That's really cool. But I will say this just to kind of, and then move on, Luis, but so this is kind of your first playthrough of a super massive game, right? Because I don't think you kind of played through Until Dawn and the Dark Chronicles games. Does this kind of make you think like, maybe I want to play more of their games, or no, you're not there quite yet?
I always did. I just never got to them. I don't really know why. I don't have a real answer. Maybe I was just playing something else at the time. But I've been into the genre, like Quantic Dream. I played all of their games, so I like that sort of choose your own adventure style thing. But yeah, the Quarry, I actually really, really enjoyed it, and I wouldn't have bought it unless you guys brought it up.
We're harassing you to grab it. But I will say this, so the other games, we do have the other games, Luis. So if you ever want to kind of try them out, and like I said, it would be interesting to hear your thoughts on like the Dark Chronicles games, where it's like Dark Pictures Chronicles, where like you are playing at the same time, like in different, sometimes completely different areas, right? At the same time. So,
Hmm.
so yeah. Or if you can go back to Till Dawn, if you could ever suffer through it, I'd be interested to see like your thoughts on that as well.
I might dip my toes in it.
Yeah, because I really like that one. That was it's just wacky. Like Dalen was saying, you're describing the same game, and you're right, Dalen. You're right. You know,
It's
you're right.
the same game,
You're right.
but it's still beautiful
But
and probably still holds up, with the exception
yeah.
that I still remember Louis saying this. He hated the controls for moving the flashlight for the characters.
Yeah, and this one wasn't too bad. I think.
No, this one, it seemed like the controls were actually pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Luis? I guess besides Quarry, I guess we'll kind of wrap up the review.
No, that's it.
All right, we'll put up the review up there in a couple days. As far as for me, I did play some more Saints Row 4, and it's like, Luis, you perfectly pointed out. I don't know if you put it in the chat somewhere. It's like, no, Carlos has to play all the games before the latest thing comes up, or something like that, right? Like for Dragon Ball the movie, Dalen, I'm like, can I watch all 700 episodes of Dragon Ball before the movie leaves theaters? I don't know. I don't think I can. But I would.
No, you can't.
I can't, right? But so
for you, Carlos, it was hard enough to get through 26 episodes of Demon Slayer. I don't think you're gonna make it.
Still not caught up on that, by the way. Still not caught up on, by the way, like the latest season. But anyways, I have been playing Saints Row 4. The campaign, it's kind of one of the things I kept thinking about this game, because I'm kind of playing Grand Theft Auto 4 and Saints Row 4, and I think GTA 4 came out. What was it, 2008 maybe, and then Saints Row 4 I think was 2011 or 2012. But it's kind of interesting to see. It's like, okay, Saints Row 4 already is like, they want to make it as smooth as possible, but the world isn't as detailed, the story isn't as good. It's super wacky, but at the same, it's like, and right away, pretty much right off the bat, you don't drive cars because you run super fast in it. And I was thinking, like, what can I compare this to? I think I can compare it to, like, Saints Row 4 is like Mad TV, and Grand Theft Auto is like SNL, like Saturday Night Live. Like the quality is drastically different, and one of them is, I would say, superior. But I'm playing Saints Row 4. I did beat it. The campaign is about 7.5 hours long, which I thought was super short, but maybe because I've just been playing through all these Grand Theft Autos that are like hundreds of hours long or whatever. But playing through Saints Row 4, I beat the game. I'm doing some of the DLC. Yeah, there's a lot of, it's very unchild friendly. That game is super unchild friendly. If you thought Grand Theft Auto was not child friendly, Saints Row 4 games push it. They push it even further. Okay. But I'm ready
Saints
for the
Row 4 2013 versus Grand Theft Auto 4 2008.
And
so it's a 5-year difference. And they're like,
it's doing something special, dude. Like Grand Theft Auto 4 is still doing something special, where even a Saints Row game years later, the king is a king. The king is a king for a reason, man. And we need that. We need that Grand Theft Auto 6, especially with the crappy reviews from Saints Row 2022. We need the next Grand Theft Auto out here, man. But I'm ready for. I'm sure I'll have my thoughts on the new one that came out.
You're saying, GTA is the rolled gold of the pretzel world.
Of the open
All right,
world
so
game. The open world game. Dalan, what have you been playing?
I want to play some Uniracers now that you mentioned it. But
is that what it's called? Is that what it's called? Uniracers?
Yeah, okay. Uniracers.
Yeah.
But the game that I've actually been playing outside of the Quarry is, I went back to playing Ghostwire Tokyo. And dude, this game is fun and can give some people nightmares, because basically all the enemies are Slendermen. And people don't like Slenderman. Slenderman can be really creepy. But if you can get past the Slenderman, this game is basically Yu Yu Hakusho, the video game. You are the spirit detective, and you are going around in an open world city trying to like solve these spiritual cases. Like I saved somebody's umbrella and I gave it back because it had like an evil spirit that came out of it because it was like bad juju or something like that. Yeah. I saved a child spirit who got trapped in a room because the landlord decided he was going to kidnap the little kid. Like, why?
Yeah.
But it's fun because they start giving you extra superpowers. I started floating through the sky and stuff, and it just became this really big game. And I'm not even past the second chapter yet, and more stuff is happening. It's getting bigger and bigger as I go on. And honestly, the game is just fun. This might be one of those games where I just want to go and do all the side quests.
This is like an RPG action adventure game, or what are we thinking here, Dalen? What kind of third person?
It is a first person RPG action adventure.
Okay, there you go. And what is it in the style of maybe like a Skyrim or something, or no?
Skyrim would be a good good comparison to it. But I feel that this game is a little more smooth than that, and the area is more compact. So there are probably other games I could better compare it with, but I haven't thought of any yet because I don't play these games that
There
often.
you go. There you go. I might,
But I would not compare it to Skyrim. It's not that old.
This is on like Plus Supreme or something, or what are we thinking about?
No, I actually, my homie gave me the game,
Okay.
so I could actually try it. So thank you, Genicel. I'll just give you that one.
Damn, you don't want to give him
but
anything else? Okay, reasonable.
hey, he gives me a lot of stuff, and
This
we
might
kinda
be on
share.
one of the services. This might be. I'm not sure, but we might want to look at it.
Maybe if it is, I strongly advise whoever has access to this game to play this game.
There you go. Ghostwire.
I include you two in this. I strongly advise it. I had Jeremy Lowe over here, one of our guys that we had on the show previously. He came over to my house. He tried it out. He was like, "Damn, now I gotta buy this game."
All right. Well,
he didn't even get past the first chapter.
We'll keep an eye out there for Ghostwire 2. I think it's been out for a couple years too, right? It's not new. It's new.
No, I believe it's new. I will double check that for you.
Well, Ghostwire Tokyo, thank you for regaling us with that tale, Dalan. Make sure to check it out. I think it might be on Game Pass or Plus Supreme. I'm not sure, but I think I've seen it somewhere around there.
It came out March of this year.
There you go. We'll end it with the zinger this week. HBO Max's app crashed over the weekend as millions of Game of Thrones fans tuned in for the prequel premiere of House of the Dragon. 10 million people viewed it across HBO platforms, which is linear on demand. HBO Max linear, by the way, it's like cable, right? For people that don't know. Yeah, I think I watched this thing at like midnight, so I had no problems like loading up. But did you watch
it before everybody woke up? No,
it's funny to like think that these things crash though. Like you don't expect millions of people to try to load up your app, right? Like it's like you're just gonna give them a
this is one of those things that even though the app crashed and they had to fix it, HBO is sitting on the side like, oh man, I'm so glad that this app crashed. Why are you glad that it crashed? Because so many people were watching it at the same time that we couldn't contain it. That's good news.
Yeah, there you go. That's yeah. I guess it's a good problem to have, I suppose. Luis, you watched it with your family. Do you guys have any technical issues while you were watching it?
No, we didn't. I mean, what I read was that the technical issues were specific to Amazon Fire TV, so that could be why, because that's not what we were using. But yeah, no, we were fine.
You guys
I'm just waiting for HBO's name to change from HBO Max to something else because they talked about changing the name.
Oh yeah, again. Discovery bought them or something, or they merged. They merged Warner, Discovery, all that stuff. HBO, so it'll be interesting, especially because they fired a whole bunch of people on HBO Max. So. Makes you a little sad because they have some decent series on there.
You look real sad.
Dalan, are you House of the Dragon? You watched it or no? Because me and Luis watched it.
I just told you literally 3 seconds ago. No, I have not watched it.
You're being wacky about it.
I need to watch that, and I need to watch She-Hulk. I need to watch both of those.
It's fire, man. They already made a There Will Be Blood reference, and I love me some There Will Be Blood. I don't know if you know. Well, that's been an episode. Salient Points number 79. Make sure to go to WeGotComs.com, the YouTube, subscribe, like, comment. Remember, if you're talking crap to Dalan about his rolled gold, you'll get on the show. We'll talk about it. See you guys later. Carlos Macias, Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Thank you for joining
us.
Pretzel Mania. And Luis Mendez.
Hey man, they're gonna touch you.
So next week, I think we'll have I think we kind of have to have a show, but I don't know. I think you guys, Dalan, you're visiting someone. Luis is moving. So right, we'll kind of figure some stuff out, right? So
it'll be touch and go. We'll see if we have an episode.
It'll be touch and go indeed.